So it turns out that Emrakul's not just hidden in Innistrad's moon, she's also hidden in Secret Lair. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles. We are here to have some fun today and talk about Emrakul and Secret Lairs. So, for those of you who may not be 100% up to speed, since people get into Magic at different times, what we'll do first is we'll talk about Emrakul, specifically the one that we're referencing in this scenario, because there are multiple printings of Emrakul. So we're going to be looking at Emrakul, the Promised End. Now, this card made huge waves when it's in Standard. This is a very powerful card and a very flavorful card. So this is a 13 casting cost creature, which is a massive cost, unless there was some way to play it for free. Gee, I wonder what led to problems before. Could it be circumventing mana costs? Yeah. Anyways, 13 mana for a 13/13 Eldrazi creature. Emrakul, the Promised End costs 1 less to cast for each card type among cards in your graveyard. So you can get discounts on it for each, like if you have a creature in there, if you have a sorcery, it doesn't count however many copies of each, but it does care about you having the different types. So you can make this card cheaper fairly easily. But even with the reduction, it still stays kind of up there price-wise, because you're starting with 13 mana, and that's a huge cost. But anyways, 1 point reduction for each card type among cards in your graveyard. When you cast Emrakul, you gain control of target opponent during that player's next turn. After that turn, that player takes an extra turn. Now, this is an insane ability, where it's like, I get to control this guy for his next turn. Yeah, but after that, he gets an extra turn to try and recover. Well, usually the damage that can be done just by controlling them for 1 turn, just even in terms of opening them up for an alpha swing, where you're just like, okay, how about you send your creatures over this way and I favorably block and then just swing into end you. Like Emrakul, this is a game-ending card, right? That ability is going to end games a lot of the time. Now we move down. What other abilities do we have? Flying and trample? All right. Oh, and protection from instants too. Great. This doesn't seem overpowered or anything. Honestly, it's a pretty impressive Magic card. Let's be real. It says, an enigma as vexing as life itself, as the flavor text. And Emrakul is this gigantic floating... Emrakul has almost a Man of War vibe. In some artworks, she's depicted more as this weird triangular sort of rocky-looking version of herself. And in this style artwork, she's got a Man of War. Actually, you know what? When you look at this artwork, doesn't it kind of give you like an alien movie vibe, where the gigantic alien mothership has opened up above a city and there are all these like things pouring out of it? In this case, it's tentacles, because Emrakul is a naughty tentacle monster, right? And we know that there's a particular type of animation that deals with that sort of thing that you could easily slide Emrakul on into. But regardless, Emrakul is an Eldrazi. These are crazy, like, universe warping beasts, right? Where they can kind of travel between the different planes of existence, but they don't travel the same way planeswalkers do, and they somewhat exist outside of the multiverse. The Eldrazi are very interesting and weird creatures based on Lovecraftian sort of horror, you know what I mean? It's got that sort of Cthulhu vibe to it. So the Emrakul, the Promised End version, is Emrakul actually towering here over Innistrad. Because originally what happened was the Eldrazi showed up over on Zendikar, and then at a certain point, Emrakul just kind of got pulled over to Innistrad, while the other 2 Eldrazi were left on Zendikar. And that was actually caused by Nahiri. Nahiri summoned Emrakul to Innistrad, and Emrakul started to basically warp and corrupt the entirety of Innistrad, because the presence of these Eldrazi titans is so intense that it literally warps the world around them. So Emrakul warped the world of Innistrad and warped the standard format at the same time. A very, very powerful card with a lot of cool flavor to it, in all honesty. Now, Emrakul is currently, as I mentioned in the intro to the video, imprisoned in the moon in a very weird sort of... There's a bunch of planeswalkers who wanted to trap Emrakul in the moon, and Emrakul was just basically like, okay, works for me. Like, literally in the story, it's basically like, okay, I'm done playing. I'll go hang out in the moon now. It was mildly confusing. But either way, that is how Emrakul ended up on Innistrad. And the tie-in with Secret Lair ties specifically to this variation of Emrakul. So we move on to the Secret Lair aspect of what we're talking about here. So we have to look at, if you remember a number of months ago, I actually did a video on it, the Thalia Thalia Guardian of Thraben's Secret Lair was announced. And that's a Secret Lair that has 4 different variations of Thalia. Now, hidden in one of the pieces of artwork of the Thalias is actually a little Emrakul. The artwork that we're looking right now depicts Thalia standing in some sort of assemblage. I believe this is like where they make their laws. I think this is some sort of like organization like that. And there are all these blood-strewn papers that have been thrown about, right? Like, this is some intense artwork. She's standing there with this paper like crimped up in her fist. But on one of these pieces of paper is actually Emrakul. Up in the upper left-hand corner, on that one sheet there in the very, very upper left, there is actually an Emrakul. Now, it may be hard to make out at first. I'm going to try and zoom in on the artwork. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep the resolution so that while you're looking at this, you can get a much better view. But to help you kind of parse it out, Emrakul is drawn on the paper as if she is flying off the left-hand corner, right? So the eyes are facing off to the left, and it's like a cutesy Emrakul style, where it's done like it was almost done like a kid's drawing. Just happily smiling. And honestly, it also, because of the way the paper's moving, it makes it look like Emrakul is flying. And just like, I'm just kind of flying around this cute little Emrakul. Now, this led to a couple of fun things happening. One is Johannes Voss. Is that how you say it? Or is it just Johann? Is he Johannes? Johannes? Johann? Johann Voss? Either way, the painter, he's the same guy who did Galia. He does magic artwork. He actually found a Reddit post where this was being talked about and said, I had nothing to do with this. No idea how that got there. I think that Johann, or Johannes, whatever his name is, I think this guy's a lot of fun. I have seen his posts on other like Reddit threads and things like that, and he just seems like a pretty cool dude. He seems like he's got a good sense of humor, and he's just playful and fun. He seems like he would be cool to chill with. I mean, obviously, I don't know much about the guy, but from what I've seen, he seems pretty chill. Now, this cute little Emrakul that's up in the corner, it actually led to somebody deciding to do a mock-up of a cute version of Emrakul. Let me see who it was who actually did it here. So this was posted by a Reddit user by the name of Trinketstone, and this is Emracute, the Promised Friend. And I'm going to put this up right beside Emrakul, the Promised End, so you can see the parallels between the abilities. This is really fun. This is like a Magic Junior style card. So, Emracute, the Promised Friend. You got to admit, that's actually a really great play on the name, right? And like the Emracute works well with Emrakul, but the Promised End, the Promised Friend, it just feels so clever. It's very straightforward, but I don't know, man. For some reason, this whole thing tickles me pink. So, this obviously is a 13/13 Eldrazi for 13 mana. This card costs 1 less to play for each card type you have in nap time. Isn't that cute? The idea of calling your graveyard, no, it's okay. It's okay, don't worry. Jace is just in nap time over here, okay? Don't worry about it. Like, that's a cute idea. And then it's got flying, protection from surprises. Now, you'll notice it doesn't have trample. I'm guessing that's because the person who slapped the card together just didn't have a really easy idea for what trample could be in terms of trying to make it like more friendly to kids. But protection from surprises is such an amazing way to describe protection from instants. There's just something about it. Protection from surprises. Like, just imagine a kiddie version of Magic where instants just said surprise. You know what I mean? Because that's what instants like a lot of the time feel like, right? At the end of your turn, I'll surprise you. I'm gonna surprise lightning bolt your face, son. You know, like, there's just something about this. I love it. It's fantastic. Now, the next ability When Emracute the Promised Friend enters the playground, another player will allow you to play their turn for them, but only if you allow them to have a turn right away afterwards. I love that. It's such a, like, a friend, it just makes it sound like friendly sharing. You know what I mean? Like, and the flavor text says, her friendliness is only measured by the amount of her arms. And then it's got one of those little squiggly weird faces. Like, look at me, I got a weird mouth. That's great. That's great. Her friendliness is only measured by the amount of her arms. And Emrakul has so many arms, so she's so friendly. And the artwork just shows this adorable little Emrakul with the more triangular head that we talked about earlier. And the eye looking up in the sky, but the mouth is open in just delight with the hands on the face. It's like a ah kind of thing. I love it. I love this card so much. I assume that the one who posted it, Trinket Stone, is the one who created it, but whoever created it, it's absolutely fantastic. And the top comment actually posted under it is also fantastic, where it says, I love how this wording just makes a card that is a total salt mine sound like innocent group hug jank. And it's true. When you change the wording to Emracute, it doesn't sound like this massively oppressive card that you're just gonna be like, I hate this so much, it's just fun, man. So I wanted to take the time to talk about something a little sillier here. We've been doing a lot of criticizing and complaining about Magic as a group, me too, and I'm not done. There's more coming. If you were in the live stream earlier today, you will know. Daddy's still, like, I'm still 90% sodium. I am a pillar of salt. I looked back and I am now a pillar of salt. So I thought it'd be fun to just take something silly and cute like this, have a little bit of fun with it. Let me know what you think in the comments below about all this. Big shout out to my patrons and channel members. Thank you for supporting my channel. I do appreciate it very much. I am going to head out. Thanks for coming by, everybody. For now, I'm history, baby.